Well, good evening, everyone, and I want to thank you first and foremost for allowing me to share this information this evening with you, for taking time out of your busy schedule and being here tonight. I'm so glad to have everyone here with me this evening uh, because health is such a crucial aspect of wellness and disease prevention. And when our bodies are functioning optimally, we're going to feel much better. We're going to think more clearly. We're going to have more energy, and we are certainly going to look our best as well. Uh, and the question I have for you before I get deeper into the program is, if you don't change anything that you're doing today, where is your health going to be 5 years from now? That's the question. So in answering that, what I've done is I've endeavored to create a program. This is the end of the year. There's a clean slate before us, and we are literally entering a new decade. And that is quite exciting. So what I wanted to do was empower you with information. And in doing so, I've created an 8-part program, if you will. There is no cost, there's no obligation to you. And look, if you have a family member or a coworker or a relative or whatever that you think might be interested in and or benefited by this, please let them know about it. Now, I will tell you this. There is an 8-part series that I'm going to be sharing with you, each of which is going to require the attendee to register for it beforehand. That is a requirement. So again, if you know someone that would be interested, please share those links with them so that he or she can go ahead and register for these as well. And I'll go through them briefly. Of course, this one that we're going to be getting into is going to be talking about detoxification. The next one, which is going to be, and they're all going to be on a Tuesday evening. They're all going to start at 5 o'clock Central Time and last probably about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half, depending upon the questions that we get and the response that we have. But this is the first one. The second one, I'm going to be talking about breaking up with self-sabotage, because a lot of us are our own worst enemy. The next one is about goal setting and how you and I could go ahead and set realistic, obtainable goals so that we don't undermine ourselves and get ourselves off track and become discouraged and disillusioned. Another one, the one following it, is going to be about move. I've entitled it Move, and it's all about exercise and the exercise programs that you can be doing that will benefit you in the greatest way. Also, the one that follows is called intermittent fasting. Now, fasting is one of the latest, greatest crazes that everybody's talking about, that a lot of people are attempting to do. But I'm going to share with you the intricacies of what is known as intermittent fasting, because I believe it's attainable, it's doable for anybody, everybody, and I'm going to show you how to do it and the benefits that you're going to reap by engaging in it. Another one, the one that will follow, is take the toxins out of cleaning. Here we're going to talk about detoxifying the body, and in that particular presentation, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can take many of the toxins that you and I are exposed to in our home cleaning products, in some of the furniture that we have, and our home environment, basically. The next one, I'm going to be talking about Sleep 101. That's what I've called it, Sleep 101, the basics of getting a good night's sleep. Because I will tell you this, you can do all of these aforementioned things that I went through here to a T. However, if you're not getting the proper amount of sleep that you as an individual need, then it's all for naught. You won't be achieving anything that you're hoping to achieve. And another one, and I put this down so that it will be just before Valentine's Day. It's about chocolate, and I've called it Chocolate 101 too. All of the good, the bad, and the ugly about chocolates, all of the different types of chocolates, the most beneficial chocolates, the most harmful chocolates, and even who should be eating chocolate and who shouldn't be eating chocolate. So those are some of the things that I'm going to be covering here in the seminars that I'm going to be presenting. So I hope that you'll join me in those nights. Remember that you're going to have to go ahead and register for them, for each and every one of them. Share that news with others, and so that they might be able to get into this as well. Okay, so without any further ado, then we're going to get into this evening's presentation, which I've entitled Demystifying Detox. And I'm going to address to you this evening why you want to detox, how to detox safely, and the foods that may be contributing to a toxic buildup in your body. So hopefully you're ready, and let's get started now as we move forward. Okay? So in order to understand how to detoxify, I want to begin about talking about toxicity here, and what it's all about here. I want to define for you what that word simply means, because toxicity is basically the degree to which a substance, any substance, either a toxin or a poison, can cause harm to you. And there are two medical distinctions of toxicity. One is known as acute toxicity, and that involves the harmful effects in an organism or a substance through a single or a short-term exposure. That would be like if this gentleman, if you were yelling to him and he immediately turns to look to you from where the voice is coming, and he sprays you with this pesticide that he's using on there. That would be an acute toxicity. You would immediately become toxic. That is rare indeed, but I must say it is increasing in the events that it's occurring, especially in our environment. And the second type of toxicity is chronic toxicity. This is it's the ability of a substance or a mixture of substances to cause harmful effects over an extended period of time. It's what we do regularly. Usually it's upon repeated or continuous exposure, sometimes lasting for the entire life of the exposed or the exposed organism, indeed. So it's like some of the products that we use on a day in and day out basis. You know, some of the cosmetics we use, some of the foods that we eat regularly, some of the sprays that we use in our homes over and over and over again. And even though we may not be exposed to it for a long period of time, we are exposed to these things repeatedly, and that toxicity builds up over and over and over again. So now that you hopefully have an understanding of that, I want to talk to you about the elimination process, because the body's natural process for detoxification, it's done by removing these impurities from the blood in the liver, where toxins are processed for elimination. So that's basically the primary function. There's over 500, but one of the primary functions of the liver is to process the toxins for elimination. So it all goes through the liver. It gets boxed, if you will, to get ready to be shipped out. Now, the body also eliminates toxins through the kidneys, through the intestines, through the lungs, the lymphatic system, and through our skin as well. Now, we're continually bombarded with various chemicals and environmental toxins, and you know, the more that we're bombarded by them, the more they build up and they build up and they accumulate and accrue in the body, and that slows down and even impairs or eliminates many of the body's elimination processes. You know, it kind of clogs up the filter, and the liver is unable to do the job it was designed or it was able to do a few years ago, because so much toxicity is built up in it. Now, detoxification is about resting, it's about cleansing, and it's about nourishing the body from the inside out. That's how it has to occur. Now, there are many of us that believe detoxing can help prevent disease by removing and eliminating the toxins. Then what you have to do is to feed your body with the healthy nutrients, because during the time that the toxins were in your body, there was much damage that was being done. So now, after we've cleaned it out or started to clean it out, we've got to start to repair and rebuild the affected tissues. Now, how does the detoxification work? Well, the goal of any and every detox program is to help boost the body's natural cleansing process. And we do so by, as I said earlier, by resting. We have to rest the organs through fasting. That's why one of the seminars I'm going to be talking about, or the webinars, is going to be dealing with intermittent fasting. We have to stimulate the liver to drive the toxins from the body. So it's not just a matter of, stopping what we're doing and changing it, but we have to stimulate the liver. We've got to make sure that that organ in particular is now engaged so that we can clean out those toxins from it. We have to promote the elimination through the intestines, the kidneys, and the skin. Because, and this is what happens when people go on diets. They think that by losing weight, and I'm not demeaning diets, they're very, very good, but unfortunately, they are, to most people, and I use that word most, when they go on a diet, they're harming themselves if that's all that they do. Because now all of those toxins that have been stored in those fat molecules, when that fat molecule is opened and deflated, so to speak, those toxins that were kept inside are now loosed inside the body, and they only move around only to find another place to inhabit or to set up housekeeping, if you will. So you lose these toxins, and then they burrow themselves into the kidneys, or they burrow themselves into the intestines, or into the heart, and or the worst of which is into the brains. So you've got to make sure that you're promoting elimination out of the intestines, the kidneys, and through the skin, so that those toxins aren't just picked up once again, only to be embedded elsewhere in the body. We've got to also, when we're detoxifying, we've got to ensure that we're improving the circulation of the blood. And as I said earlier, we've got to refuel the body with healthy nutrients so that it can start to repair and rebuild the damaged tissue. Now, how do you exhibit any of these symptoms? Well, how do I even know that I'm toxic? Because a lot of people, they think, well, that's certainly not me. Well, some of the common symptoms of toxicity, how you can know if you have toxins in your body that the body is desperately trying to get rid of, are unexplained fatigue, or you could have sluggish elimination. You can have irritated skin or breakouts, which you think are allergies, hives, papules, things that are, breaking out on the skin, low-grade infections, and or allergies that you mistake for, seasonal allergies. It can be puffy eyes or bags under the eyes. It can be bloating, problems with your cycles if you're a female, mental confusion. Anyone who experiences, now listen to me, anyone who experiences one or more of what I just shared with you can benefit from even a short detox to help alleviate or eliminate the stress on your body. I've got to stop here if I can, and share with you a program that we have. And for those of you that are interested, please email me, and I will be more than happy to send to you a very short PowerPoint program that you can open up and you can see just one individual who, for all intents and purposes, was a healthy individual, or so she thought. She came to us, and she's allowing us to share this information with you. As she came to us, we put her on a detox program that I recommend to anybody, to everybody that comes into our facility for any help, because it's very powerful, it's very easy, it's a potent springboard for those that want to get into deeper detoxification. But I will be more than happy to send that to you. So please, and I'll remind you at the end of the program, if you're interested, let us know, and I'll show you the befores and the afters, just in a 15-day period. Just 15 days, and you'll see a profound change in this individual. So I've got to share with you now what others are saying, because detoxing isn't a new discovery. It's biblical. For centuries, cultures around the world have practiced detox as a part of their religious rituals, and they've been rewarded with a lot of health benefits. It's a great way to clean the body. And we'll talk about that in another webinar, certainly. But some of the results that have been reported to us, to our office, as a matter of fact, and as which I will show you if you're interested in seeing that, this one individual. But some of the results are clear skin, increased or enhanced immunity, lessened cravings, food intolerance relief, improved clarity or sense of well-being, those cognitive functions, that foggy mindset that an individual may have. The elimination of waste materials, or even more energy. And, as an added bonus or benefit, even weight loss. Yep, it's not the primary, but it certainly is a benefit. Sounds pretty good, right? So before you start thinking that detox sounds too good to be true, I want you to keep in mind that it does take work. It takes fulfillment of responsibility. It takes commitment. However, the effort you put in it will lead you to the results that you're looking for. But you have to be willing to work for it, okay? So let's look at some of these toxic foods and what are some of the top offenders. Now, aside from the obvious external factors, such as the chemicals in clothing, the furniture, the cleaning supplies that I'll talk about in another webinar more in depth, many of the foods that we eat are really not food. They're merely made with food-like substances. Now, even the fruits and the veggies that we eat are grown, many that are out of season, if you will, that we get in the wintertime that are really like summer fruits or spring whatever. These are grown with pesticides and they're heavily covered with poisons. Now, some of the top offenders when it comes to toxic foods are, and of course, the number one is got to be sugar and sugar substitutes. Did you hear what I said? Sugar and sugar substitutes, like the aspartame and the sweeteners and all of that. Those are very, very toxic. Of course, one of the more popular ones, if I can put it in that light, is gluten and caffeine. Caffeine is very, very toxic in and of itself. I might stop here and point you in the direction. If you do like coffee, please visit our website. That's proactivewellness.com, and go to some of our partners. On that page, you're going to find a link to Purity Coffee. Purity Coffee. And I have to tell you, and please watch the videos that they've made available. If you like coffee, I've got to tell you, sign up and start getting that coffee. It is the purest, the cleanest, the most nutritious coffee that I have found to date, bar none. And they'll show you who they have been compared to and tested against. Anyway, the caffeine, the dairy, the meat, some of the meats. Now, I'm not saying abstain from eating meats, but I'm saying you need to buy clean meats. Non-GMO meats, grass-fed beef and whatnot. And for that, also, if you're in our area, I would invite you again to go to our website, to our partners, to the farm there that we have. Go to their link, tell them we sent you. You're going to get the cleanest meat that I've seen available in our area, barring none. Also processed foods, sodas, all of those things, right? Those are the top offenders. Now, the effects of those toxic foods, well, there's a number of adverse health outcomes associated with a diet that contains those foods that I previously mentioned. These foods are also associated with poor overall dietary intake because you're not really eating food, you're eating food substitutes. Which have been linked to many diseases and chronic conditions, some of which we've seen come through our doors here, like cardiovascular diseases, type 2 diabetes, obesity, certain types of cancer, and osteoporosis as well. See, osteoporosis too, ladies. Now, I want to talk to you about the far removed from food foods, okay? How do we know processed foods are bad? It's real simple. Every time a population, every time a society, every time another nation or another group adopts a Western diet high in processed foods, they get sick. It's the Inuits, the Eskimos. They were one of the healthiest groups, social groups in the world until they started eating the foods that are typical in the standard American diet. Now they enjoy the same diseases that many of the people in the United States have, like the cardiovascular disease, the type 2 diabetes, obesity, cancers. It just runs a whole gamut. See, this is unfortunate, but it's true. Now, when you detoxify from processed food, the results in a lower intake are the following. You've got to lower the intake when you're detoxifying of the sugar and certainly the high fructose corn syrup. Oh my gosh, definitely. They use mercury in order to process much of the high fructose corn syrup, and your body can't process high fructose corn syrup. It is lethal. It is deadly. You need to get it out of your food list. Any of the artificial ingredients, the preservatives, the food colorings, the flavor enhancers, the chemicals, the texturants, all of those things, the refined carbohydrates. These are the ones that are responsible for the rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels when you eat those refined carbohydrates. Those processed foods, all of which I mentioned here, are engineered. Listen very carefully. They're engineered for overconsumption, and they want you to become addicted to those things. I am serious as a heart attack when I share that with you. Those processed foods have been engineered. They have been specifically created for the consumer to become one who overconsumes those foods on a regular basis. And they have been constructed to lead to addiction. You are addicted to those things, those chemicals, and you gotta have them. That's what happens. So in short, our bodies aren't designed to handle the massive amounts of salt that's in those food substitutes. It's not designed to handle the amounts of sugar, the massive amounts of sugars that are in there in all different types of names. And our bodies just aren't designed to handle all the unhealthy fats, those trans fat, those hydrogenated oils, all of that garbage that's found in processed foods. So what have you got to do? You've got to refine your palate. And there's some pretty amazing results that have been reported by detoxers who just cut their sugar intake. I mean, the weight loss is noted as the most noticeable outward sign, of course, but it's also been followed by a clearer complexion, and some of the internal benefits include an increase in sustained energy levels and less bloating, less gas. You see, refined sugar is one of the most harmful things you can put into your body that isn't outright classified as a narcotic or a poison, which indeed it is. It's narcotic because you become addicted to it, and it's a poison because you are poisoned by that stuff. But there is emerging research, and it suggests that sugar causes our cells to degrade faster, leading to damage of the DNA and accelerated aging. You look at people that are eating these refined carbohydrates, and some of them look 10 and 15 years older than what they really are. But the good news is, once you've broken the cycle of sugar dependency and you've cleansed your system of its effects, the sugary snacks like the donuts and the cakes, they're not going to have the same irresistible appeal they once had. And foods you never thought as particularly sweet, like bell peppers. Who would have thought bell peppers would taste sweet? But they do. And carrots and beets, they're going to start tasting very, very sweet. Something naturally sweet like an apple is going to taste to you like candy. See, by ditching the refined sugar, your palate, your taste buds are going to become more attuned to the natural sweetness of real foods. And I'm telling you, once you go off the wagon, so to speak, and you take, you get a slice of pie, or you get one of those sweets that you used to, those sweetie desserts that you used to have, I promise you, you're gonna it's going to be too sweet for you. Your body's not going to be able to handle it, nor will it want to handle it. As soon as you taste a couple bites, you're just going to reach your threshold, and you're going to say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. So before that point, though, I want to talk to you about the accumulation of toxins, because when you're doing this, you've got to also be reminded that you've got to start to remove or reduce animal products from the diet. And when you do that, the body is going to go into a cleansing mode to rid itself of the accumulated toxins. See, some of the benefits of detoxifying from a lot of the meat and dairy, and I've got to include the dairy. And see, I'm not beating this stuff up in and of itself, but I am drawing your attention to the fact that many of us eat these things over and over and over again. We eat the original meal, then we eat the leftovers. Then we eat another original meal that has the meat, and then we eat those leftovers. And it's a cyclic kind of a thing. Remember that chronic toxicity I told you about? Well, when you start to reduce these things, not to totally eliminate them, but reduce them, your body, that puffiness that you feel, that inflammation that you're aware of, it's going to start to reduce. You're going to lower your blood cholesterol levels. Now, I didn't say cholesterol. I said your cholesterol levels. There's more than one cholesterol. The HDLs, the LDLs, the VLDLs, the ratios, the triglycerides, those are going to start to correct, because the body's going to become cleaner and healthier. You're going to have a rebalancing of the healthy gut bacteria. So even if you're not ready to take the plunge and go full on vegetarian, it might be recommended to avoid some of the meat and dairy while you're doing a detox, because the meat is going to slow down your digestion. It's going to clog up the bowels, and it does breed some harmful bacteria in your gut if you're not eating the meat that I talked about earlier. That non-GMO meat, that grass-fed meat. And the milk and the cheese and the other dairy products, they're acidic to the body, and they also lead to a reduced cell function, and they slow down the process of detoxification. So those are some of the considerations that you might visit and think about incorporating into your detox program if you're going to do this on your own, okay? And what you've got to do is now that you've reduced those, you've got to get more of the good. Now that you have a better idea of why you'd want to detox, I'm going to share with you how you want to do it, because it's all about the diet. And I don't mean dieting as in counting calories. I mean removing the known food offenders and increasing your intake of the non-toxic foods. Now, I talked about some of the toxic foods there and how you have to reduce them, and or some of them you just want to totally eliminate, like the sugars and especially the sugar substitutes. But now I want to share with you the non-toxic foods, because they include, the stevia, the non-GMO stevia. And that's a point I want to make right now, because there is genetically modified stevia that's out there. So don't just be fooled into just grabbing anything that has stevia on the label. Look for the non-GMO stevia. You want to eat more greens, the fruits, the fresh fruits or the frozen fruits, the water. You want to increase your water intake, certain vitamins, certain supplements, certain nuts and seeds. And I'm not talking about peanuts, for those are legumes. And of the legumes you can increase, but don't increase the peanuts. And the herbal teas, they're great, to help you get going there. Those are the non-toxic foods. Now, to get started, well, when it comes to detoxing, there are a lot of different options that are available depending upon your need or your goal. And detox programs can last anywhere from 3 days to a month, and to the one that we use, 15 days. And I'm telling you, when the people use that program, with the results that they're they're seeing, with the ease at which they're accomplishing these changes, that many of them sign up and they want to continue on that same program. And I myself, I do this 3, even 4 times a year because of all the traveling I do and what I'm exposed to in my traveling and whatnot. But anyway, fasting programs, they really need to be done with extreme care, and most of them should be done with a short duration. That's why if you are getting into fasting, I just brought that point up. But look, I have dedicated an entire webinar to intermittent fasting, so you might want to put that off or shelf it until we get into that subject in and of itself. And I always recommend to discuss any kind of significant changes. If you're wanting to achieve them, you want to talk these goals over with your doctor, whoever it is you're seeing, to ensure that you're aware of any potential risks to your health. Because as I said a few minutes ago, people, when they are dieting, they are opening up a Pandora's box to a lot of health problems that they're not even aware of. And this is the time of year when we're inundated with all kinds of diets and weight loss programs and exercise programs, and with the toxins that most of these people have ingested or been exposed to over the years that they've been exposed to them or ingesting them, when they go on a diet, they're just they're unleashing monsters in their body. So look, it's a discussion that it behooves you having with your doctor. All right. Now, 3 to 7 day juice fast. I know those are where people are only drinking fresh fruit or fresh vegetable juices and water. They can be an effective a way to release some of the toxins from the body, but I certainly don't encourage a person to use that totally and wholly. And again, I wouldn't do it without having a conversation with a doctor. However, that type of detox can be too extreme for beginners as well. And the longer duration detox diets that you may want to try, um, boy, again, you want to have that conversation with your doctor. There's a lot of there's a lot of different methods out there. There's the fruit and veggie detox. There's the smoothie cleanses, the juice cleanses. There's a sugar detox program, and there's a hypoallergenic detox program. I mean, there's something to fit anybody, everybody, anytime, and all the time. But even those in and of themselves, they can open up a door for other harmful things. So what you've got to do is you've got to settle down and set your intent. To get started, it's important first to identify your goal. That's it. See, and I've got a webinar where we're going to talk about setting goals, these attainable goals. Then after you've done that, you've got to determine the way to measure where you currently are, your starting point, where you are with your goals, so that you can track your success, so that you can see if what you're doing is getting you, if you're headed in the right direction and it's getting you closer to achieving your goal. You can measure that. There's a few examples there, like if your goal is weight loss, you can weigh yourself and you can measure yourself. If your goal is to get rid of headaches, or you can go ahead and document, how often the headaches occur, how intense they are, how frequent they happen, and all of the factors that surround your discomfort. Then if you're detoxing, you can see if, hey, they're not occurring as frequently, and they're not as bad. When they do occur, they don't last as long as they used to. That's one way to do that. If your goal is more frequent, less painful bowel movements. And then there's a way to track, to chart them, and to see what's happening when, how they occur with what you ate before it happened, or how you felt after it happened, and foods that stir it up or instigate it. If you want to de-stress, map out how you feel throughout the day, before, during, and after your detox. And there's all kinds of ways that you can go and measure these things. Again, it's all contingent upon the goal that you have in mind. Because if you fail to prepare, then you're preparing to fail. I wish I'd have said it, but it bears repeating here. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So proper preparation is going to be your key to success when you're detoxing here. That's why it's good to talk to your doctor, to have a plan in place so that you can go ahead and proceed forward with it. One of the most important things you can do to prepare is to clean out your kitchen of all the toxic foods that you might have. Yeah, go through your pantry, your refrigerator, your cabinet, your baskets, and remove anything that's processed, sugary, or caffeinated. See? And when you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to feel pretty good about yourself because you've already made a dynamic step toward achieving your goal. And you can donate these unopened foods to a friend, and or a food pantry. If you don't want to throw them out, I mean, you can do that, because not everybody wants to achieve the best performance of their life, and some people, they are satisfied with where they are. And I'm not saying that you're going to be doing them a disservice. I'm just saying that by doing that, you're going to be meeting one of their needs, and they need to have that food, and that's all they want to have. So you want to also gather some recipes, and what you want to do is to go onto some websites where you can get some of these really healthy recipes, and you can start preparing them, changing them. And in your spare time, you want to sit down and you want to prepare a menu for the week. You'll have an easier time making a shopping list and avoiding the temptation of unhealthy foods. And I got to tell you, that's one of the things that we provide here with the detox program that we have. We have lists of foods, what you should eat, what you could eat, and what you shouldn't eat, and what you need to reduce on. It helps you out. And because when you're creating that shopping list, it's going to make your trip to the store easier when you combine the items on the list, and when you have them categorized and you go from department to department, because that's going to help you to prevent you from moving back and forth from one end of the store to the other. Okay? And then another thing you can do is you can restock your pantry. You want to make sure that your pantry or your kitchen is full of everything that you're going to need. And now, one of the causes of eating poorly is actually lacking time to prepare the healthy snacks and the meals. So you got to sit down and you have to be proactive. You've got to do this beforehand. You can avoid the pitfall of failure with just a little food preparation beforehand. So once you get your foods home, you're going to want to sit down and prepare everything before putting the items away, because you're more likely to snack on already cut carrots or throw a meal together if all the veggies are already peeled and diced, right? Yeah, you're already prepared. And the more you can prep ahead of time, the less likely you're going to be to grab something that's unhealthy just out of convenience. Now, I'll tell you some things that I think would benefit you in your kitchen. Some glass containers. Yep, glass containers, not the plastic, but the glass or the ceramic containers, the Pyrex. Some good quality sharp knives. Some things that are nice to have, but they're not absolutely mandatory. A blender, you can get an immersion blender, you can get a juicer, a food processor, you can get a food dehydrator. It all depends on how far you want to go, how serious you want to get, and how stringent you want to be, because those things are going to benefit you down the road. And at this time of year, maybe you can, if your birthday's coming up, you can drop a hint around the holidays for your Santa or whoever it might be, what you're looking for in the kitchen. It might be a nice thing, because what they get you, if you're mom and you're the cook in the house, if they get you one of these items, they're going to be benefited too, because the recipes you're going to be able to make and the things you're going to be wanting to do with those items. Also, I want to mention that you want to work toward replacing the non-stick cookware that you have. And you want to replace it with an iron skillet, if that's what you use, or the stainless steel saucepans and cookware as well. And if you're on a budget, you can always go to the flea markets, to these secondhand store or whatever they're called, reused things. I really don't know, but you can go to those thrift stores, and it's a great place that you can get some of these products, you know, some of these items that I mentioned. So you don't have to get brand new. They can be brand new to you, but used as far as you're concerned, okay? Now that we talked about that, I want to make sure that I mention hydration. You want to start every morning with a glass of warmed lemon water, a glass of warmed lemon water. Because when you do that, that's going to stimulate your digestion for the day. It's going to help to clear the body out of any toxins that maybe have settled in the digestive tract overnight. And then after you've done that, you can drink chilled lemon water throughout your day. Or hey, if you like the warmed lemon water, stay with it and drink that. Because drinking the lemon water is going to support your immune system. It's going to alkalize your body. It's going to change your body's pH. It's going to aid in your digestion. It's going to help to clear the skin. And when you boost your immune system, it's going to help to promote the healing, right? Okay. Now, you know, there's smoothies and there's juices and those are packed with nutrition, and they can actually make a great meal. Plus, you can hide all kinds of healthy additions in a smoothie, you know. You can add aloe water. You can add spinach if you have a juicer. You can add chia seeds, strawberries, pumpkin protein. There's all kinds of things. And look, uh, there's some great recipes. And if you are interested in receiving the recipes, why don't you go ahead? I invite you to email our office, and you can do so at office@pro-activewellness.com. Again, that's office@pro-activewellness.com. Let us know that you watched the presentation, and or you can call us, let us know the same thing, and we'll be more than happy to forward to you a few recipes that I think you would dearly love. You would greatly be benefited by, and you'll find very, very tasty. Now, the same is with the soups. Soups are especially soothing during a detox, and you can get a really well-balanced meal by adding some healthy fats and complex carbs, some nuts, some seeds, and some herbs. And we've got some tremendous recipes that we can share with you as well, especially the detox veggie soup. It's one of my faves. And whether you're detoxing or not, it's very, very tasty. Now, to aid in your detox, there's additional techniques that you can use that will help you in your detox pursuit here. You can eat plenty of fiber, including brown rice or wild rice or organically grown fresh fruits and veggies. Like you can eat the beets and radishes, artichokes, cabbage, broccoli, spirulina. It is a superfood indeed. Chlorella, that's second only to spirulina. And if you want some great sources, you can contact us as well, because we use these for our patient demographics. Seaweed, it's an excellent detoxifying food. Sauerkraut's very, very good. You can cleanse and protect your liver by taking some herbs. You can add them into your salads, like dandelion root, burdock, milk thistle, drinking green tea. That's another great thing you can do. That'll help to clean out and protect your liver. You can take vitamin C. That's going to help the body to produce glutathione. I've got to keep on going. And a liver compound that drives away the toxin. It's going to help out the liver as well by taking the vitamin C. Drinking at least 2 quarts of water a day. Take with you one of those 32 ounces, those 32-ounce stainless steel wide mouth containers. And there you go, right there, 2 quarts. Fill it up. Drink it, fill it up, and drink it again, and you've certainly met your quota for the day. Also, you can breathe deeply and allow the oxygen to circulate more completely through your system. Sweat in a sauna, get out and exercise and work up a good sweat. You can dry brush your skin, or get some of those products that you can put in your bath that will help you to detox as well. All of these things are going to help you out if you want to start to detoxify. Now, completing your detox, well, once you have completed the detox protocol that you've chosen, you don't want to add back in all the foods you removed immediately. You don't want to do that. This is especially important if you chose a fast or a juice detox. You don't want to do that. You're going to want to incorporate solid food, starting with easy to digest options very gradually. Now, you may be feeling so great after you detox that you don't even want to add certain foods back. But if you do decide you want to add like the meat back in, you want to choose the healthy proteins, and you do want to reintroduce them to your system very gradually. And if you remove several foods, what you want to do is to wait several days before reintroducing each different item. For example, if you remove gluten, you may find that you really aren't allergic to gluten. It was just the toxins from the gluten. Well, anyway, if you remove the gluten, the meat, and the dairy, what you want to do is to pick one item to add back into your diet, like a little bit of meat. Then you want to wait 3 days or so if you want to get back on the dairy. Then add the dairy to the meat, and then you want to wait, and then you can add the gluten foods after that. This is going to help your body and your system from becoming overwhelmed, and it will also help you to identify the possible offenders. Okay? Now, look, I know I've covered a lot of information here, and you are welcome to contact our office here with any and all questions that you might have, because I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining me in this presentation. And again, sending those questions to us. And you know, again, the email address is office@pro-activewellness.com, or you can contact us at area code 217-431-2010, or you can visit or subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Dr. Robert Bartosh, just like the name of the doc here that's talking to you. And you can subscribe to that. And we'd love to be able to help you out. Contact us in any way. Look, if you ever feel discouraged, remember what you're working toward. And, I'd love to hear about your experience over the next few weeks if that's the route you're going. And if you think you could benefit or would like to benefit from the program that I mentioned, please contact us. We'll be more than happy to send you a questionnaire so you can see just how toxic you might currently be and how benefited you might be by doing this detox program. And if you do it, how benefited you were by doing the testing and the photographing and whatnot after it's been done. So if you do think you could benefit, you just contact us, because we're here to serve you, and we would love to support you in that way. Hey, look, you have rocked it. Thank you, and thank yourself for taking the time out of your busy day to sit down and allowing me to share this information with you. And look, if you act upon it, I promise you, you are going to be benefited immensely. So again, I want to thank you so very, very much for allowing me to share this information with you. Don't forget, you can register for the next upcoming seminar that we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing. It's about breaking up with that self-sabotage that you have, so that you can be a success, because our ultimate goal is to help you to achieve the best performance of your life. So until that next time that you and I are together, and as always, God bless.